Welcome to the world of decentralized wireless. DeWi for short. This isn't your typical crypto mining. That requires a basement full of screaming power-hungry GPUs. Instead, we're talking about small, quiet, low-power devices called hotspots. Think of them as tiny cell towers or data hubs. You can run them from your home. The two big names in this space are Helium, Pollen Mobile. These hotspots don't solve complex math problems. Their job is much more practical. They provide wireless coverage for other devices, Internet of Things sensors, smartphones, creating a network built by the people for the people. In return, the network rewards you with cryptocurrency tokens. For Helium, the primary token HNT, plus a separate mobile token for 5G coverage. For Pollen Mobile, token PCN. But the amount you earn isn't fixed. It depends heavily on your specific location, how many other hotspots are operating nearby, and the overall demand for the network services. Strategy and placement can matter more than raw power. This essay is your comprehensive guide to navigating this landscape. We'll break down how these devices earn tokens, what technologies they use, and the real-world costs to consider. We'll show how to scout profitable locations, compare strengths and weaknesses of Helium and Pollen, provide actionable tips to maximize returns. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, but with planning and homework, running a hotspot can be fascinating and potentially profitable. The journey is more than plugging in a box and watching tokens roll in. Think like a mini telecom operator: antenna placement, signal obstruction, network density. We'll cover the risks, volatile crypto prices, potential regulatory hurdles, hardware supply issues. By the end, you'll have a clear framework and a final checklist to help you decide if deploying a Helium or Pollen hotspot is right for you, for your location, and for your financial goals. At the heart of how these networks function and reward their participants is a clever system called Proof of Coverage, or POC. Proof of Coverage, POC, like taking attendance for the internet. Imagine a giant treasure hunt game where people all over the world put little radio boxes, called hotspots, in their homes. These boxes help send tiny bits of information for things like scooters, pet trackers, and sensors. But the game needs to make sure each box is actually working and really sitting where the owner says it is. That's where proof of coverage comes in. How it works? Super simple. Think of POC like a roll call at school. The teacher calls your name, you answer, "Here." This proves you are really in class. POC does the same thing. One hotspot says, "Hey, are you there?" Nearby hotspots respond, "Yes, I'm here." The network checks. Are they really in the right place? Are they really turned on and working? If they are, the hotspots get points or rewards, like stickers in class. Why do networks use POC? POC helps the network know which hotspots are real, which hotspots are in the right location, which hotspots are doing their job, how strong and useful the network's coverage is. It's like checking which students are really helping the class and which ones are pretending. Why does it matter for crypto? Some crypto networks, like Helium, give tokens as rewards to hotspots that prove they help the network. No help, no rewards. POC makes sure everything is fair. Super simple summary. Proof of coverage is how a crypto network checks that your hotspot is really where you say it is and really helping. If it is, you get rewarded, like getting a gold star. Unlike Bitcoin's proof of work means you can't just say you did the work. You have to prove it by showing you burned real electricity, solving a useless but verifiable puzzle. The winner gets to write the next page in Bitcoin's history book and gets paid for it. It's a massive, global, energy-consuming math competition that happens every 10 minutes to decide who gets to add the next page to Bitcoin's permanent record and earn new Bitcoin. The entire system works because finding the answer is hard, takes work, but verifying the answer is easy, takes seconds. Which burns massive amounts of electricity. POC verifies that a hotspot is actually providing wireless coverage where it claims to be. It's how the network confirms your little box is doing its job in the physical world. The network doesn't just take your word for it, it constantly runs tests to validate the coverage you provide, keeping the network map accurate and reliable. Here's a simple way to think about it. The network randomly selects your hotspot and issues it a challenge. The challenge commands the hotspot to transmit a special radio packet. Nearby hotspots in range are asked to witness that transmission. If they receive the packet and report it back, it proves your hotspot is online and providing a legitimate signal in that geographic area. Everyone involved in a successful test, the challenger, the witnesses, earn a share of token rewards for validating the network's integrity and reach. This incentivizes building a useful, widespread network. Hotspots in unique locations that can see others no one else can are more valuable. But if you place your hotspot in a room with 10 others, you're all competing to witness the same events, which dilutes rewards for everyone. The system encourages broad, even coverage rather than dense, overlapping clusters, so physical placement is critical to earning potential. Ultimately, proof of coverage gives the network real, tangible utility. Tokens are direct payment for contributing to verifiable physical infrastructure. This separates DeWi from purely digital cryptocurrencies. Your earnings are tied to a physical service, extending wireless reach. The more valuable your hotspot's location is for expanding the coverage map, the more POC opportunities it will have and the more tokens it's likely to earn over time. The two leading projects, Helium and Mobile, use different underlying wireless technologies. Understanding this difference is key. Helium originally built its network on LoRaWAN, which stands for Long Range Wide Area Network. LoRaWAN is designed for the Internet of Things. Tiny data over long distances, while using very little power. This includes smart pet trackers, agricultural sensors, package, location trackers, environmental monitors that might only send a tiny packet a few times a day. LoRaWAN is not for streaming video or browsing the web. Its strength is efficiency and reach. A single LoRaWAN hotspot can cover sensors several miles away, depending on terrain and antenna setup, ideal backbone for low-cost, always-on devices. As Helium has evolved, it has started to incorporate 5G through partnerships and pricier hardware aiming to serve smartphones and other high-data devices, creating a multi-layered network. Mobile, on the other hand, focuses on everyday mobile standards, 4G, LTE, 5G. A pollen hotspot, often called a flower, acts like a miniature cell tower. It uses licensed or shared spectrum like CBRS in the United States to provide actual mobile data service that compatible smartphones can connect to. You're helping build a decentralized mobile network that can compete with or supplement major carriers. Verizon, AT&T. The choice between these technologies has significant implications. LoRaWAN hotspots are generally less expensive, they use less power, and face fewer regulatory hurdles. They serve a growing but niche IoT market. In contrast, 4G, 5G hotspots for a network like Pollen are more expensive and may have stricter placement and registration requirements due to mobile spectrum. However, they serve the massive market of smartphone users. Today, 3.8 billion smartphones sit idle in pockets and on nightstands worldwide. Meanwhile, Bitcoin mining consumes more energy than entire countries like Norway or Argentina. This is the crypto world's greatest irony. We're burning gigawatts of power in specialized warehouses while 8 billion hyper-efficient mini-computers in people's hands do nothing. But here's where it gets revolutionary. Why smartphones are the perfect mining platform. 1. The scale is unimaginable. 3.8 billion active smartphones, 2024. 6.8 billion mobile users globally. Average user touches phone 2,617 times per day. Combined processing power. The world's largest distributed supercomputer. 1. Perfect demographics. Gen Z and millennials. Already digital native, crypto-curious, unbanked populations. 1.7 billion adults without bank accounts but with smartphones. Developing nations, where $2-day mining could change lives. 1. Energy advantage. Smartphones are 100 or 1,000x more energy efficient than traditional mining hardware. Already charged daily using existing infrastructure, can mine only during charging, zero marginal energy cost, which could mean higher demand and potentially higher earnings if the network gains traction and users start using it daily. Before you get carried away by the prospect of earning passive crypto income, it's crucial to do a realistic accounting of all the costs involved. The most obvious expense is the hardware itself. The price of a hotspot can vary dramatically. A standard indoor LoRaWAN hotspot for the Helium network might cost anywhere from $300 to $600. However, more robust outdoor models or the newer 5G-capable hotspots can easily exceed $1,000 or even $2,500. Pollen Mobile's 4G. Beyond the initial purchase, factor in ongoing operational costs. These are relatively low compared to traditional crypto mining. You will need a stable internet connection for the hotspot. The device doesn't use much data, but reliability is non-negotiable. Use your existing home internet plan or for remote outdoor installs, a dedicated cellular data plan which could add $20 per month to $50 per month. Electricity is minor but real. A typical LoRaWAN hotspot uses about the same power as an LED bulb, roughly 5 watts to 10 watts. That might add only $1 or $2 per month. A 5G hotspot draws more, about 20 watts to 40 watts, still far less than a gaming PC or ASIC miner. Include these recurring costs when calculating profitability and break-even. Finally, factor in installation and optimization. A basic indoor setup might be free, but maximizing earnings may require better gear. A high-quality outdoor antenna can cost $50 to $200. You may also need mounting hardware, weatherproof enclosures, and low-loss coaxial cable, adding another $50 to $100. If you're not comfortable with heights or drilling, hire a professional. Expect a significant one-time labor cost. Estimating how much you can earn is part art, part science. It's the most critical step in your research, so pay close attention. Your profit is not guaranteed and depends on factors outside your control. Token price is the first and most volatile factor. Helium's HNT, Mobile, Pollen's PCN. A great location can still lose value if token prices plummet. Always use current, realistic token prices. Analyze your local network environment. Helium Network Explorer Map. Pollen Network Explorer Map. Enter your address to see active hotspots nearby. Watch the density. If your neighborhood is saturated, earnings drop because you share rewards. The sweet spot. A few nearby hotspots, not a crowded sea. Community-built tools and calculators can refine your estimate. They aggregate network data and simulate placing a hotspot. They use transmit scale average earnings of nearby devices. For example, suburb hotspots earning the equivalent of $30 per month, while those in the dense city center are only earning $5 per month. This data is invaluable for making an informed decision. Let's walk through a simple hypothetical calculation. Suppose a hotspot costs $600. After researching your area, you estimate it could earn tokens worth about $25 per month at current prices. Your monthly electricity and internet costs are negligible, say $5. This leaves you with a net monthly profit of $20. To find your break-even point, divide the initial hardware cost by your net monthly profit. 600 divided by 20 equals 30 months. That means 2.5 years to pay off the hardware. Assuming token price and network rewards remain constant, which they rarely do. If there's one golden rule in the world of decentralized wireless, it's that placement is everything. The performance of your hotspot depends far more on where you put it than on the specific model you buy. Radio waves are affected by physical obstructions. That includes LoRaWAN and 5G. The ideal placement gives the clearest, most unobstructed line of sight. Height is your greatest ally. Put a hotspot on a high floor of an apartment building. Even better, mount it on a rooftop. A hotspot stuck in a basement will almost always underperform. Indoors, aim for a window that faces an open area. Avoid dense trees. Avoid large buildings. Materials matter. Metal can block signals. Concrete blocks signals. Energy-efficient window coatings can degrade radio performance. Don't place the device in the center of your home surrounded by interior walls. Give the signal the easiest path outward to reach other devices and hotspots. Think from the radio wave's perspective. Upgrading your antenna can be a game changer, but only with good placement. The stock antenna is fine to start. An external antenna mounted outdoors can dramatically improve your reach. A higher gain omnidirectional antenna hears and is heard farther in all directions. But buying the highest gain antenna isn't always the best move. Match the antenna's radiation pattern to your environment. Install it as high as legally and safely possible. Find a strategic balance. Be close enough to other hotspots to participate in proof of coverage events, but not so close that you're in a saturated area. Ideal, be on the edge of a cluster, or be one of the first hotspots in a new, underserved area. Use Network Explorer maps to scout these greenfield opportunities. Providing coverage where none existed before is often the most lucrative spot. The network heavily rewards the expansion of its useful footprint. Deciding between deploying a hotspot for the Helium network or for Pollen Mobile is a major strategic choice. Each network has distinct advantages and disadvantages that will appeal to different types of users and locations. Helium has the significant advantage of being the older, more established player. It has a much larger existing network, hundreds of thousands of LoRaWAN hotspots globally. This maturity means it has a more developed ecosystem, more third-party tools, a broader user base for IoT data services. Its longevity provides a track record which can feel less risky than investing in a newer project. However, Helium's maturity can also be a drawback. In many urban areas, suburban areas, the network is already quite dense. This saturation, governed by proof of coverage, leads to diminished rewards for new hotspots in crowded zones. While Helium is expanding into 5G mobile service, that part is still developing and requires more expensive hardware. LoRaWAN rewards have been adjusted multiple times, creating uncertainty about future earnings as the network evolves. Pollen Mobile represents a different kind of opportunity, a newer network focused on 4G mobile data. 5G mobile data offering potential for higher earnings for early adopters. Early networks often offer generous rewards to incentivize rapid build-out and attract the first wave of infrastructure providers. Pollen targets a massive mobile market, and if it attracts subscribers, demand for its network could be enormous. This is a high-risk, high-reward bet. Risks are greater for a newer network like Pollen. Its long-term success is far from guaranteed. It needs critical mass of coverage and users to be viable. PCN token value is highly speculative and could stay volatile or fail. Deploying cellular frequency equipment can involve more complex regulatory considerations than LoRaWAN. Decide based on your risk tolerance, your budget for hardware, and assessment of which network services are more likely to be in demand in your specific area. Once your hotspot is installed, your job isn't entirely over. To ensure consistent earnings and a long, healthy life for your device, perform light but regular maintenance and monitoring. The most important task is to keep your device's firmware up to date. Developers and manufacturers frequently release updates, security patches, performance improvements, adjustments to align with new network rules. Running outdated firmware can cause your hotspot to fall out of sync with the blockchain and stop earning rewards until it's updated. Active monitoring is a key habit. You don't need to watch it 24/7, but check your hotspot once or twice a week. Most projects have official mobile apps or web dashboards. Check your device's uptime synchronization status, recent witness activity, accumulated earnings. If your hotspot has been flatlining for a day or two, the dashboard is your first stop to diagnose issues. Lost internet connection firmware issue. Security should not be an afterthought. Follow basic best practices. If the management interface has a default password, change it to something strong and unique. Protect your home Wi-Fi with a strong password and WPA2 or WPA3 encryption. Avoid opening unnecessary router ports pointing to the device. These steps protect your device and your earnings. Finally, tap into the power of the community. Helium Community, Pollen Community, Discord, Telegram. Use forums for troubleshooting, optimization tips, and staying informed about network-wide changes. Find channels for specific hardware antenna setups and local regions. Learning from thousands of operators helps you solve problems faster, choose a better antenna, and find more profitable deployment locations. Investing in a wireless hotspot is not without its risks. It's essential to go in with your eyes wide open. The most significant and unavoidable risk is market volatility. The tokens you earn have a fluctuating value. That value can change dramatically in a short period. A hotspot can be highly profitable one month and operating at a loss the next if the token crashes. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Don't rely on these earnings for essential living expenses, especially early on. Regulatory risk matters too, especially for hotspots using mobile frequencies like pollen mobile. Radio spectrum laws are complex and vary by country. Some technologies, like CBRS in the US, are shared, but they may require registration and restrict power output and limit antenna height. Local HOAs or building managers may ban external antennas. Always research and comply with national and local rules to avoid fines or shutdowns. Networks are a risk source as well. Reward rules aren't fixed. They can change via project governance. Changes to proof of coverage or the tokenomics model can dramatically affect earnings. These changes aim to improve long-term health, but they create operator uncertainty. Stay informed via official project announcements. Finally, hardware and supply chains pose risks. High demand can make new hotspots hard to buy with long wait times and back orders. That can make you miss deployment windows. Used devices might lack a warranty, could be defective, or be blacklisted by the network. Hardware failure can mean slow support or replacement. Mitigate risks by buying from reputable vendors and starting with a single device to test before scaling. We've covered a lot of ground. Core technology, costs, risks, operations. Now it's time to bring it all together into a clear, actionable checklist to help you make your final decision. This is not about finding a perfect yes or no answer, but about making a well-informed choice based on your specific circumstances. A decentralized wireless hotspot can be a rewarding investment, financially as a learning experience, but only if it aligns with your goals and situation. Be honest with yourself as you go through these final questions. The first set of questions relates to your location and placement potential. Use the Network Explorer maps to answer this. Is my proposed location in an area that is not already heavily saturated with other hotspots? Do I have a viable spot to place the device, such as high up near a window, or ideally outdoors with a clear line of sight? If your area is already a sea of red dots on the map, and your only option is a basement, your chances of success are significantly lower. A good location is the single most important factor for success. Next, consider the financial commitment and your risk tolerance. Can I comfortably afford the upfront cost of the hardware, which could be several hundred to over $1,000, without straining my finances? Am I prepared to wait, potentially for 12 to 24 months or even longer, just to break even on my initial investment? Am I mentally prepared for the value of the tokens I earn to fluctuate wildly? And I understand that my earnings are not guaranteed. If the thought of the token's price dropping 50% overnight causes you severe stress, this might not be the right venture for you. Finally, review the practical and regulatory aspects. Have I checked my local laws and any building or HOA rules regarding the installation of external radio antennas or the operation of private wireless equipment? Am I willing to spend a little time each week monitoring the device's performance and keeping its software updated? If you can answer yes to most of these questions, then you are in a strong position to move forward. You have done your homework, understand the risks, and have a realistic plan. A hotspot could indeed be a great way to dip your toes into the world of decentralized infrastructure. More information to come. If you found this informative, hit the like button and subscribe.